Our next presenter is Kate Goldsboro, and her business is Beauty is a Decision.
Hi, I'm Kate Goldsboro. My business is called Beauty is a Decision. And the name perfectly describes what I do and what I stand for. I help women solve their beauty problems, and I love doing it. As many of you know, no matter how conscious we are, cultural messages are powerful pulls on our thinking and behavior. This Dove YouTube clip shows the problem that I propose to help solve.
We had an option of 2 pathways to walk, and they led to 2 doorways. It was a bit confronting, actually, to be honest, to see these big signs and feeling like you had to choose and be self-conscious of how you perceive yourself and perhaps if it lines up with how the rest of the world perceives you.
Am I choosing because of what's constantly bombarded at me, what I'm being told?
I walked into that door which said average, and I didn't feel really good after that, because obviously I had rated myself average and nobody else would.
I just wish more young women realized it.
Beautiful is a great word. So why not see what's on the other side of that?
With candid camera like this, we see the universal issue. Women believe one must be beautiful to qualify for approval. And the standard is so high, so unreachable, the internalized message then becomes not good enough. Right now, what we have is an epidemic of self-disapproval in women. In the course of 20 years as a boutique owner and stylist here in Littleton and on the road, not only have I shown thousands of people how to style themselves, I've coached them one by one on self-approval. This takes me back to a place I was 4 years ago. After giving a talk and demonstrating a makeover in front of an audience of 300 women in New York, I had a realization. I can't physically help everyone who's asking for my attention. I gathered up all the names, and after writing my weekly newsletters for 1.5 years, I've become kind of a beauty and wholeness guidance counselor, and people seem to like what I have to say. The old adage is that one must touch somebody at least 7 times before they buy. By providing free information to prospects on a regular basis, as I do, it builds a solid relationship where they come to trust you. My business plan is to provide a holistic approach to living beautifully through a digital information and coaching program delivered in 6 developed modules, online modules: clothing, nutrition, fitness, grooming, organizing, and self-awareness. Each client begins with a face-to-face Skype consultation with me. I help them make style changes and personal care deletions and additions, and then they're off to the modules I assign for them based on what I've learned about them. The modules guide them to develop new healthy habits and in the end live their lives more smoothly and happily. My newsletter list has grown to over 700 subscribers, and they'll be my target market for the initial course offering. More and more people are buying services on a subscription basis. My target for the first year is 35 subscribers for the course, and that's a 5% conversion rate of my existing readership. In the second year, with no list building done at all, at 50 people, it would be a 7% conversion. In the third year, at 65 subscribers, it's a 9% conversion. Coaching is now a $2 billion industry, and the world is increasingly headed in the direction of online coaching. Here's an example. Marie Forleo's B School, where I learned marketing. She charges $2,000 for an 8-week course, and it generates about $3 million a year. This model I'm proposing is one that anyone can create who has a computer and internet connection and a passion to share their specialty. The successful coaching programs have one thing in common: an online community linking members together to share their experiences, support which keeps people going in courses that require change. In my own experience, having makeover group gatherings first started in Montpelier when we dug up the streets here in Littleton, and now in New York City, this really works. People are looking more and more for community connection and experience. My clients are enthusiastic about the kind of consulting I propose, for my knowledge, my expertise, and the quality of attention that they know that they'll get from me, something that is becoming increasingly rare with the expansion of box stores and internet shopping. My background as a clothing stylist, hairstylist, makeup artist, writer, public speaker, actor, teacher, fitness trainer, personal shopper, closet makeover coach, and ongoing student of health and personal development make me highly marketable. No one covers the waterfront as I do. For all the areas I cover, the $600 a woman will spend on my course is a tremendous return on investment, considering what she would spend if she purchased the services I offer individually. The beauty is a decision course is $99 a month, and it provides the consultation, check-ins, a group call, and the webinar module, $232 value. I'm the driving force behind this project, and what I need is a team to bring together all the moving parts, the website, setting up the subscription software program, and I need an assistant. That's what the money will go for. And with this team, I can expand to revenues to $230,000 within 3 years, providing almost $100,000 in revenues and a net positive bottom line. Streamline your life, get healthy, look good while you're doing it, love your beautiful self. Sign up for my newsletter at kategoldsboro.com.
That's time.
So men can't sign up.
Eventually, I have to track for men.
Because I'm wondering, it's maybe not appropriate, but how do you fix this?
You'll see a testimonial in my business plan by a guy, and I intentionally put that in there because it's a track coming.
So my real question is about break even. Are you familiar with the concept?
No, I'm not.
So it's when you turn the corner from startup to turning a profit. So how long is your break even point? But if you're not familiar with it, I think you answered my question.
Well, if I can answer in my own amateur way, I would say that I feel that in the 3-year mark, I'll be really paying the team the way I'd like to pay somebody real money to work, that I'll be making money, my course will be smooth, and that I'll be in the break even.
Okay, so good answer, and thank you for that. So typically there's an 18-month for, this is all businesses around the whole country, 18 months. So for 3 years until that point, how is this company going to survive?
As many of you know, I own a retail store, and I have a hair salon, and I do traveling makeovers in New York City. I have groups. I do little talks here and there. I'm building my list. People buy from affiliates off my website, and it would be the step up for me to go into what I really want to do.
Kate, this is your IP, and I love your courage in addition to this idea. How do you protect this IP? Have you looked at any kind of copywriting, patent protection of process, and I didn't see any expense for legal to cover that in your business plan?
Well, my brother is a lawyer, and yes, he's advised me about especially my trademark name and all of these legal issues he would help me facilitate. And he works with the team. He's the big go-to guy for New Hampshire, and he's in Vermont, so I have a lot of contacts in Littleton.
So you had some great metrics that you showed us up there, and I just have some questions about those. How many subscribers do you have now?
700 on my newsletter.
So what you said, there was something, the first number was 35.
That's in my first year. Once I start this online course, my target is 35 subscribers for the first year.
So it's 35, so the subscribers you're talking about are to your coaching program?
Yes, to my coaching.
And so you don't have subscribers now, that's just the first year number? would be
Yeah, I know that
Okay.
word was confusing, I'm
Got it.
sorry.
Okay. And so if I take your program, will I graduate after 6 months?
Well, that's
Or do I have to keep
There's
taking?
an online community that you can stay on. And you can coach occasionally with me one-on-one. There's also a Track for an Advanced program for a 3-month for the advanced students. But you, Marilyn, you would probably...
I guess my question as a consumer would be, do I have to worry that I'm going to be entrapped in this for the rest of my life?
And I'm also planning a retreat. People can come to me here also, and they can schedule a talk with me.
And I just have one more question. How many people did you say you would employ, and how quickly?
So if you fund beauty as a decision, I can employ a tech person who I am working with part-time right now, and hire an assistant. I have a Garden Hill connection, and I have people. So I foresee a really great tech person, an assistant, and then some part-time help here and there.
Kate, have you looked at alternative ways to get distribution of the program out there, like with organizations like Coursera? I mean, there are national organizations you can promote this program through. Have you looked at any of those?
No, I have taken several people's classes like this, and I've talked to a friend at Garden Hill who knows what the program is, that I need a back-end software program and how to do it, and that's really what I need the money for, is how to set it up, how to organize it so that my customer has a great experience, and that it's not some amateur thing starting out.
Kate, I notice in your business plan that you have $10,000 for admin and marketing staff in your first year. And you say, I'll hire a personal assistant to do graphic arts, video production, social media marketing, answering emails, and keeping program materials up to date. Is $10,000 enough?
Well, I'm employing that person part-time right now while I'm working and bringing in the money. No, it's not enough for that person. But as long as they're working part-time, that's really what's happening. If I have to do it more slowly, that's what I'll do.
The online beauty field is a fairly crowded space, so how do you plan to differentiate yourself?
Well, as I said, there are decluttering coaches, there are fashion coaches, there are men's style coaches, and I cover the waterfront. I cover a pretty wide range of things, as you may have seen in all of my skills and talents. And the 6 modules, they cover a pretty big range that most other people aren't doing.
And final question, if you were to not get the $4,000, how do you move forward with this plan?
1 minute.
I would do what I'm doing with Art2Go and stay with the styling, and then just build it slowly.
How long did it take you to build up those 700 subscribers, and where did they come from?
So I attend other people's events, and I give little, so it all started with that talk I gave. I did 2 in New York, and people were just like throwing themselves at me. So I got all their names, and then I put them on the list, and then I started having little gatherings where I would teach how to do a natural look in makeup, so how to eat different, how to pack for Paris, how to do, and have little groups, and people spread the word, and I started getting people passing my newsletters along.
What was the conversion rate you saw from people taking advantage of these free classes out of those 700 or whatever number that it was? And was there a reason behind the 5%?
That's time. We'll move into the comment phase now, and who would like to start?
I can start. I thought it was a wonderful presentation. If this doesn't work, you could probably start a PowerPoint class on how to create one, because I would definitely sign up for that. Because that was really well done, and it was very snazzy, and came off very well for that. I'm not too familiar with the beauty whole market, so I don't have too many comments, but that was great, and I think it's a great plan. I just think it's going to take a lot of marketing expertise out front to just get your name out there, because it is a very crowded field. But best of luck, because it seems great, and some people, I think, wouldn't like they opened with a video, but I thought it made an excellent point, especially because it wasn't like on your product, but I thought it made a great point to open up with.
Yeah, the video was a bold choice. To use one of your minutes to go there, I thought was paid off. I know this marketplace fairly well. And Marie Forleo has a well-honed machine that she's been building up over a lot of years. She makes those $3 million because she has absolutely no personal connection with anyone in her courses. So you're talking about a very different model. I think that you have the expertise, you have what you need to make this happen, but marketing in an online space, marketing classes in an online space, and converting actual users to pay the money is a real challenge. And so I would want to see you significantly beef up your marketing to address that.
So I think it's a wonderful idea. I think you're the right person to go forward with it. I do think it's going to be a little slower growth as you start working, continue to work a day job in order to fund it, and so that you can get the marketing presence. But I will tell you that someone who blew an opportunity to get into the women beauty field, I'm very happy that you're going forward with it. I do believe you're the right person to do it. So good luck.
Okay, so I'm going to admit that when I read your business plan, I'm not a person who wears makeup. I forget to look in the mirror and brush my hair, and I thought, oh my God, it's about beauty. And by the end of it, I had drunk your Kool-Aid. And I said, oh my God, how did you convince me that this is a good plan? I can't believe it, that this is actually something, but you did, because you are very compelling. You know what you really believe in what you're doing. I mean, your presentation was entertaining, you're well-spoken, and you make me believe that you can do anything. But I feel like the presentation was almost a little intimidating to me. I would like to, I'd like to see it be more about inner beauty, because that's really what I got out of your plan, was that this was about making a person feel beautiful from the inside out, and that did not come across to me in the presentation as much because it was such a glitzy and it was really well done and very much about physical. But I think you really have a handle on this market, and that if anybody can do it, you can.
So when I first read the business plan, I thought this was simply a linear business. So I'll take the investment side of the response. And I think what you got here is a really interesting non-linear business, that if you can scale this, it's almost like enterprise software. You can build the code and sell it and ramp this business, you could really get some returns, and you could be making a lot of money in 5 to 7 years. I echo Leah's comment, by selling this B2C to consumers is very expensive and very time consuming. And so I would encourage you to think about really codifying and protecting your IP and looking at a B2B type solution, selling through other beauticians and other distribution channels so they're actually selling it for you.
Other comments? Okay, we're good. Thank you, Kate. And of course, beauty is a decision. Vote by texting 80230. Our next presenter is Matt Mishaw of Sandwich Tech.
Hi, I'm Matt Michaud. Katie Moros and I are the owners and operators of Sandwich Tech LLC. With degrees in mechanical engineering, we started an advanced composites shop right here in Littleton. The name Sandwich Tech comes from sandwich construction, a technique popular in everything from skis to airplane wings. A composite sandwich consists of stiff upper and lower layers separated by a lighter weight core material, much like an I-beam. We manufacture our own brand of alpine skis, engineered to carve East Coast conditions. The unique performance of our line of skis has gained the attention of both Cannon Mountain and Ragged Mountain. To fill a year-round production schedule, Sandwich Tech contract manufactures for other companies in need of composite design expertise. Since our inception, we've provided prototyping services for Clarkson University's Shipley Center for Innovation. Recently, we've gained contracts from both Solar Composites in Franklin, New Hampshire, and Team O'Neill Motorsports in Dalton, New Hampshire. Any skier will tell you, East Coast terrain is known for its icy conditions. For years, ski companies have struggled to produce skis that both grip well on a hard pack and flex for a variety of turn shapes and speeds. You see, as skis become stiffer torsionally and resist twisting, they improve in both grip and stability. However, when the same ski becomes stiffer in bending, it loses its ability to carve a variety of turns at a variety of speeds. Basically, it becomes less versatile. Unfortunately, the universal materials used by ski manufacturers literally stitch these two flex patterns together, creating an unavoidable trade-off between these performance characteristics. By doing away with the industry standard reinforcement materials, we're able to produce skis with dramatically improved flex patterns. For grip and high-speed stability, skis are reinforced with braided carbon fiber, our carbon box technology. Additionally, for easier bending versatility, our skis are also reinforced with a proprietary ballistic-grade fiberglass. This material is tougher than Kevlar, yet bends easier and further than carbon fiber. This unique construction creates flex patterns that are noticeably and measurably different from traditional ski construction. Exotic Skis, an independent testing group in Vermont, raved about these exact characteristics. Good variety of radii, as well as mid-course radius adjustment, and quiet, stable as a rail, and absolutely secure. Participation in alpine skiing was over 11 million people in the US last year. With over half of these people considering themselves advanced or expert skiers, our total available market is 6.2 million people domestically. With our marketing focused on the Northeast region, our segmented available market is just over 2 million skiers. These 2 million skiers buy an estimated 100,000 pairs of advanced expert skis at Northeast brick-and-mortar shops annually. Acquiring high-performance ski customers requires both brand awareness and product confidence. We've found the most affordable and effective methods of generating brand awareness are presence on certain forums, search engine optimization, and highly targeted AdWords campaigns. The most popular method for generating confidence in new skis is with customer demos. In past seasons, we've handled all customer demos in person, but for the 2015-16 season, Cannon Mountain will be carrying Sandwich Tech skis as high-performance rentals, greatly increasing the number of potential customers that will be able to test our skis each season. Also, since manufacturing demo skis is easily our largest advertising expense, directing customers to rent skis that were purchased by a ski resort will greatly reduce our customer acquisition cost. This cost is currently estimated to be about $54 per acquisition. For customers that are too far away to demo, our online reviews widget and 14-day satisfaction guarantee have been useful tools. Most ski companies can be classified as either free-ride-oriented brand or a piste-oriented brand. Of the 70 or so boutique ski companies in the US, very few of them are located in the East, and almost none of them could be considered a piste-oriented brand. Because of this major difference in branding, our competition comes from boutique brands imported from Europe. Feedback from customers consistently shows that Swiss-made Stokely and Austrian-made Kessli are direct competition. Considerable effort has gone into sourcing materials as directly and locally as possible. This effort has paid off and allows us to comfortably keep our pricing below Stokely or Kessli despite our lower volume. Currently, Sandwich Tech skis are sold online direct, that is, from our website direct to the consumer. Consequently, we build skis in batches throughout the year, reacting to sales. Contract manufacturing jobs have to be fit in amongst the sporadic ski production. With considerable setup times for each project, this is an inefficient production schedule. With the capital from this competition, we are looking to improve our revenue and production model. Switching to a wholesale to retail model, where the bulk of our skis are sold through brick and mortar ski shops, stabilizes production. Within the ski industry, retailers place their orders by spring, skis are manufactured over the summer, shipped in the fall, and payment is received early winter. While this puts a strain on cash flow in the summer, it allows for a predictable and efficient production schedule. In our case, it also means that production of rally parts and other contract manufacturing can be ramped up throughout the winter with far less changeover time. With this plan, we look forward to growing our manufacturing business here in Littleton. Thank you.
Good job. You certainly know your business acumen, which was refreshing. Have you considered having a celebrity endorsement as a method of fast customer acquisition? And of course, I'm thinking Bodie Miller in this area. But I mean, it seems to me that once you get someone like that promoting your product, the rest of us tend to listen because they're champions, right?
Yeah. The struggle that we kind of have there is we don't want to build skis to FIS standards. We're really emphasizing our side cuts, which is what directly lends themselves to carving ability. As soon as you meet FIS and race standards, it's not going to carve as well. It's just kind of the way it goes. So we need an endorsement from somebody that's doing on-piece carving, almost ex-racer. So maybe Bodie in a couple of years. We're thinking maybe ski cross competitions. That's starting to really gain popularity and they don't have the same restrictions. We have looked into that.
Two questions. Is it necessary to hedge the materials, changes materials prices? What's the risk there?
I'm sorry, can you explain that?
So in buying the materials that go into the skis, do you hedge the materials price risk at all?
Well, actually, yeah. We're able to buy large volumes of the ballistic grade glass we had to, because it's made specifically for us. And we cut out what normally would be a distributor. Like it goes from the weaver to usually a larger distribution house, then gets cut up, then a smaller one, and that's who most ski builders would get their stuff from. So we're cutting out potentially 2 people along the way. That's for the ballistic grade glass. The carbon, which is the more expensive of the two, that working relationship that we have with Solar Composites down in Franklin, we do some engineering work for them, and in return they give us their wholesale rate on the braided carbon. So we've worked out a lot of our time has gone into these suppliers.
Great, thank you. So the second question is, you know, selling B2C is incredibly expensive, and so it sounds like you've got an opportunity to work with Canon B2B and have them sell to the ski shop. Can you explain the economics of selling or having Canon demo your skis? Explain how that works.
Okay, so we wouldn't actually have, Canon wouldn't sell the skis, most likely, or they don't now. Most ski mountains don't. There's local ski shops that do. The benefit of having Canon have them as rentals, I mean, to us it's obvious. They buy it and they take care of our demoing problems. To a local ski shop that would be interested in carrying our skis, this means they don't have to buy as many demo skis that they're hoping to just break even on at the end of the season when they resell them. So Canon's kind of covering some of their costs too. So it helps us get into it.
Could you brand those Canon Mountain?
Good, yeah. We actually, we've been, very recently, I still call him that, we've been contacted by a guy that runs a race competition. He wants branded skis every year. And those opportunities do come up.
So when I read your business plan, I was so impressed with your technical knowledge, and I mean, you know your stuff so well. And then we got to the business plan part of it, and I had questioned, so how many pairs of skis do you make a year?
Okay, so we've built about 50 pairs. 38 of them were sold primarily last season. The season before was our first time releasing our brand. We've built skis for other companies in the past. The remaining 12 is like demos and prototyping.
And so how many more do you plan that you would be able to build?
So with this, if we're able to switch over our production run this summer, then we'd like to be able to maximize. Our shop can do about 80 pairs. It's just the constraint of working in a really small place.
80 pair?
80 pair.
So, and what's your, how much do you charge, what's your margin on them? What do you make?
Yeah, our skis, if we sell direct, it's 72% is our margin. To a shop, it's low 60s. Our contract manufacturing falls right about in the middle there, at like 68%.
Okay, because I mean, I was surprised at your owner's draw seemed low for.
Carolyn, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, so, yeah. Are you thinking? I guess it's, I'll think out a
Thank you. We are planning to move into a bigger shop, and I'd like to see us at about 200 pair a year the following year. Originally, in the executive summary, it said that we were going to switch to a bigger shop. We just realized by the time this came around, we'd end up missing out on some contracts just to move. So we'd like to do that the following year, switch production this year.
You mentioned that both Canon and Rugged Mountain are interested, but Canon is purchasing some.
Correct.
What is Rugged's interest?
Yeah, Ragged wants to be an official test center. We are still, it was toward the end of the season. We do a lot of tuning work with them, and the general manager of the mountain got on them toward the end of the season, wants to do it as a test center and kind of see where it goes from there. Right now, they have a pretty tied relationship with Head that they don't want to miss out on and don't want to step on any toes, but they can comfortably do the test center.
Can you use this technology for snowboards, which seems to be emerging sport over skiing?
Actually, snowboarding's plateaued. Skiing's growing, but we could.
Thank you.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Oh, I thought it was 1 minute before. Perfect. This seems ripe for an acquisition, but what do you see the point where you can start hiring employees? Right now, I believe you have 2 people.
Yeah.
So what are your projections on bringing people in? And how big of a business do you think you can have in the off-season? Because I was really impressed by what you were doing manufacturing-wise.
Yeah, we've been caught off guard by the potential really in the off-season, especially once we started dealing with Team O'Neill. They have a huge fleet of cars with their school. Each car has about a dozen guards. Our layup that we do, the composites that go into those guards is really unique. So they want to have branded parts they then sell to all other cars. Anyway, so there is a large potential for the contract manufacturing. Bringing additional people on, that would be, if we switch over our production this year, then next year we can move into a larger shop, and that's when we can finally bring people in to help us, which we do need.
That's, we're out of time. Okay. Now we move into the comments.
So you already know that I don't know this industry because I just called Ragged Mountain. I don't know anything about skiing or making skis, and yet I am incredibly impressed reading your business plan because I know that you know your market. I know that you know exactly who your customer is, how you're going to reach them, and that you have a plan. I'm especially impressed with the fact that you've brought in these other things to fill out the half year that your machinery would otherwise lay fallow. I'm very impressed.
So mine's less technical. I like your logo. I think it screams high tech to me, and so I get it, but I don't like your name. And that's only because I'm not a polymer engineer or composite engineer. And so the first thing I thought of was a town in New Hampshire, or when I first saw the business plan, honestly, I thought it was a Subway shop that was doing it technically advanced. But that aside, I think it's a pretty cool logo, And I'm wondering if you have put any thought into that, since 90% of success, sorry, it's a question, is attributed to, in some fashion, the name of a business.
So I too am not technically inclined, so it was, I was incredibly impressed with what you knew, and I felt like there was, that maybe you were thinking too small, that it was a little confusing to me. I mean, you just touched on it briefly, that you build things for Team O'Neill, and that seems to be that's another income stream for your business that probably you need at this point to keep going. So, but just looking at the ski business, being the thing that you're looking for investment in, it seemed like you were somehow that you should be able to scale this up and maybe think about how you can build this, because it seems like an incredible business model the way that you have it planned.
I would share comments. I think it's impressive what you guys have built so far. I would encourage you to think about other parallel uses. I do know the ski business fairly well. I work as a ski patroller at Cannon, and I'm always amazed by the children's skis. And the kids get these skis, and that's the brand they want to buy. And so could you build brand loyalty earlier, and you make 80 skis, you cut them in half, you've just made 160 skis. But again, I encourage you to think big. It seems like you've got some real market demand. It's how you access the market that I think is going to require some real thoughtful, and again, I encourage you to form an advisory board and seek advice from people that could really help you grow this business.
Other comments?
So I just wanted, since it went by my face, a quick one. You seem very ripe for the actual Shark Tank. Have you considered it? I'll end there.
I just got an email from the High Tech Council because they need contestants for Shark Tank. So I'll get your email and I'll send it to you afterwards. But I do think this is, as some mentioned, a great technology. And I didn't ask it before, but it just seems like you do have a lot of products that could be spin off of this. So I agree with Michael that the name for this, maybe that's the name of your company, and then you have spin-offs, because it does just seem like this is so great. And I'm not a techie guy, just really impressed with the plan, your presentation, and it's great to see somebody do manufacturing here, especially in Littleton, because that's what we need, especially here in the North Country, because I think you could be an anchor tenant for other companies looking to come here and for a supply chain. So this is, huge to have you here, and I hope you stay here.
Thank you. Our next presenter is Patty Slevchef of Wagsley, Muddleston. We'll need just a moment to change out product here.
Why didn't switch? Just to be sure.
My name is Patty Slapchef, and I am Wagsley Muddleston. I make dog collars. Oh, sorry. I make dog collars, leashes, and harnesses, and this all started because I love dogs. After 20 years in product design and textile design, I decided I wanted to create my own unique products for dogs. Products that would be the antithesis of big box stores, made locally, handmade and well-made, pretty and fun, as well as strong and to have a charitable component. In the 2 years since I've started making them, I'm proud to say they are definitely all those things. There's a lot of attention to detail, like X-box stitching and extra stitching at stress points, and I heat treat all the ends so we avoid any fraying. They're made with heavyweight nylon webbing, which is used for sports like rock climbing and car racing, where its superior strength is required for safety. It's super durable and washable, and it comes in a wide variety of great colors. I use high-quality Wiener lock clips. That really is a name. They're durable, lightweight, and they never corrode, peel, or rust. All thread is 100% polyester Mettler brand, which is strong and long-lasting. It costs a little more, but it isn't prone to rot after repeated dousings like cotton wool. All collars and harnesses are adjustable. So they fit almost every dog, and if they don't, I custom make ones that will. They're very pretty. I use French-style jacquard woven ribbons in a variety of beautiful colors, and they are super strong. And yes, we actually did do this. Check out the Wagsley Muddleston Facebook page for videos. Having problems with this. To date, 10% of all Wagsley sales has been donated to shelters and people with emergency vet bills. So now, I realize that this is a highly competitive industry. It's important to be innovative. What's new? Stepping harnesses. The logo is positioned on the outside of the harness so that you know exactly how to position it on the floor before pulling it up and snapping it at your dog's back.
Patty, if you point that clicker right to the
This way?
computer, I think you'll have more.
I apologize for that. So anyway, this makes it much easier to get on wiggly dogs. And if you have a wiggly dog like Sophie here, you know exactly what I mean. There are 2 additional items I'm working on which are patent pending. The first is a harness concept with an X feature on the chest. This is a prototype, so it's just webbing right now with no decorative elements. This is also a step-in harness, except there's no pressure on the dog's upper chest. The pressure goes on the front of the dog's legs, which helps reduce pulling. The other prototype I'm currently working on is a leash clip system. This leash comes with a clip attached at the handle, and you simply attach an item from the Wagsley collection. Currently, the attachments planned are small, multi-purpose bags with fun coordinating prints to hold things like cell phones, keys, poop bags, cash, etc. And a supplemental leash so that you can easily walk 2 dogs without having to handle 2 leashes. My last concept is upscale and giftable items for the crazy baby dog market. These are people who spare no expense on their beloved pets. These will be high-end, one-of-a-kind artisan collars made with unique materials. I would enter this market using materials like silks and satins for weddings, with possibly beading, buttons, custom-matched colors, and special details. And also, reclaimed and vintage fabrics, which should be coming up soon, like the bar cloth and vintage buttons from the 1940s that you see here. This prototype is made with a reclaimed fabric sleeve sewn over lightweight nylon webbing, so they're still strong. And these items do require a higher price point due to more precious materials, to the process, and to the button application. They can also be made on a custom basis for special occasions. Currently, Wagsley is available at arts and craft fairs, at dog-related events, farmers markets, at the Bethlehem and Mount Washington Hotel local work store, by word of mouth, and just recently via Etsy. Sales have been less than $1,000 a year. I attribute this to having a full-time job. So Wagsley has been a craft, which has been allowed only a certain number of hours per year. During the next 6 months, I'd like to continue developing this full line of products. This would require the design of new original ribbon patterns, as well as testing all items for fit and finish. By mid-2015, I'll be reordering supplies and planning fall designs. And by year's end, I'll be ordering new custom ribbons and original fabrics for the clip-in system at a cost to approximately $2,500 to $5,000. In 2016, the plan is to purchase an industrial sewing machine, including threads, needles, and extra bobbins, and a programmable bar tack machine. As sales increase, it may be necessary to employ someone to assist with production at a cost of approximately $15,000 to $20,000.
1 minute, Patty.
In 2 to 5 years, I'd like to increase sales channels by establishing wholesale pricing. Right now, a retailer would take 22 to 25% of sales, and this needs to be increased to 40 to 50 to truly enter the market. This would be achieved in a couple of different ways. We'll begin by focusing on internet sales, which allow for a much better profit margin, and we'll need to build a website and create better social media presence. As sales volume increases, I would be able to enjoy greater price breaks for my suppliers, which would reduce cost overall. Industrial equipment would also allow the product to be made more quickly. The most important aspect of Wagsley Muddleston has been the charitable one. And although I've realized through this process that the 10% amount I've been donating to shelters is not sustainable, I'd love to continue donating through a smaller percentage of sales, product donations, and by volunteering. My hope today is that when you think of Wagsley Muddleston, not only will you think of quality craftsmanship, you'll think of the good it will do for dogs and for your local community. Thank you.
Patty, I really like your presentation. So I have 3 golden retrievers. Are your leash designed for function or design?
They are not designed for both. They're super strong. As you can see, we actually lifted a 532-pound 4-wheel ATV off the ground with them. I'm sorry, that's with the collar. But the leashes are equally strong.
Are you motivated by profit? What motivates you as a business person?
2 things. I'd like to be able to support myself, so I don't have super high lofty goals, but I'd like to just be able to support myself, maybe even help give some employment to some local people in the community. And then the other aspect is to give back to shelters, and there's a lot of people up here with emergency bills that can at least use $50 or $100 here and there.
So the, dogs are a huge business, and how are you going to market this to dog lovers around the world? What is your marketing plan?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of glossed over that a little bit because I was having technical difficulties. One of the things I'd like to do is approach some non-traditional sales channels. So those would be veterinarians, groomers, doggy daycare centers, and I've already linked up with a couple of them that are very interested, and they are very willing to work for a 22 to 25% take, because I'm not at full retail or wholesale pricing yet. So I think that I could help to build the brand and also to build some sales that way. The other way is through internet sales. So that's kind of how I'd like to get it built so that I could enter the retail market.
Do you have any advertising and promotion plans?
We do a lot of stuff on Facebook, and I don't have anything other than that plan right now, but we'll figure that out as we go along, I guess.
So I'm looking at the price tag in front of me, and that is not at full retail?
That is the retail price.
So what was the connection about veterinarians?
That retail price on the collar allows the veterinarian, if he sells it in his shop, to be able to take 22 to 25% of that retail price for himself.
So what's the margin?
The margin
to you?
For me is about 25%. So they're both really low numbers, and I know that's a challenge for me right now.
Okay, thank you.
Where did the name come from?
A lot of car rides, and I just kept thinking until it came. It's very cute. Thank you.
So if you were to, as I've asked everyone else, if you were to not get the $4,000 tonight, how would you move forward in your business?
I'd still move forward. I'm really excited about this. I've done it on a craft basis. As you know from the business plan, there's a possibility that I'll be doing this full-time starting in January, and I also hope to supplement this with, I'm also a textile designer and a product designer, so I can freelance some of that to help support this business as well. So I'm going to keep going. And if you're going to ask what I'm going to do with the $4,000, I would like to really order some jacquard woven ribbons of my own design, so they're unique.
Well, you spoke right to me. I happen to have the cutest dog in New Hampshire, so...
I don't know, it was the challenge.
But if you need a model, Mattingly would be ready to help you out. You said you had two interesting words when you said patent pending, and my ears kind of perked up like you're saying snack to a dog. So where are you in that process of the patent?
Just barely started, like I'm in the application process, trying to figure my way through it. The two configurations are unique, so I wanted to have that happen before I got to this point where I'm putting it out.
Have they done an initial search to see if?
Not yet, no.
Okay, that's definitely what you want to do. Because if you can, I think that really then, I think you're going to have a lot of market identifying yourself in the market. But I think if you have that, obviously that's a huge advantage that you're going to have. But I'll leave that for the comment phase. How often, when you look at it, because I know with my dog, I have two leashes and 2 collars that I got that day that I got from the shelter. So how often do you envision them purchasing this? Or since this is tailored to higher end, do you expect them to purchase it more often than someone, in my case, that just wants one with a Patriot symbol on it or something?
None of those yet. That's an interesting question because most people, especially with a collar that's so durable, will buy one and they're going to be good for a while. But then there is this whole crazy lady dog market. I have customers out in the Midwest. I have one from Chile. I have different people from they're crazy dog ladies. I never heard this term until I started dealing with them. And it is not unusual for them to call me and say, I need 6 custom. They have 2 dogs and they want 6 custom collars. So I think that there's a certain segment of the market at the higher end that's probably going to demand a little bit more.
How big do you envision yourself growing? Did you see this becoming, a national market eventually? Do you have that dream, I guess?
As a dream, yes. As reality, I'm almost afraid to dream for that, but I just figure start at the beginning and see where it goes.
So I'm an investor in a company called BarkBox, which did 10 million in revenues 2 years ago and will do 50 million in revenues this year. Have you looked at any of the alternative distribution channels to sell your product? Part 1. And part 2, have you looked at any alternative manufacturing process you outsource to a contract manufacturer and you focus on the design?
I haven't, and I would love to, because
1 minute.
I know that my expertise is in the design area. I do love to sew and I love to craft, but to your point, I definitely would be interested in possibly looking into that and finding out what my opportunities are. And I have heard of BarkBox. It's this great product, and I think that I had not thought of that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, people are paying $100 a month to get a box delivered to their homes with different dog treats. That's it. And it's incredibly profitable.
Are you saving that for the comments?
I am.
Jane,
I'm loving that.
All set on questions. Okay, let's move into the 5-minute segment on sharing comments.
So my first comment is I think this would make a great QVC product where you're hitting a million zillion dog lanes all in one shot. So I think that would be a push I would shoot for. Also, I did notice, and sort of against the whole manufacturing thing, that it doesn't say made in the USA. I think that would be a good selling point, especially since we're in the Buy America ad phase now where everyone is looking for that product differentiation. I think it shows more of a quality component to it, and I'd love to see the flag made in the USA here. And then lastly, provisional patenting is something that's a 1-page, easy application that you should already be doing so that you can honestly say that you are patent pending. Without that submission, we're okay audience for that, but I'd be careful when you state that.
I don't have a dog, so I am not your consumer, but I did hear a sort of murmur go up here when you talked about a leash that could be expanded for 2 dogs. So just as a comment, I think that's something to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very difficult market, but I think I'll echo Mike's comments, but one step further of if you have ever talked with anyone in Maine and New Hampshire, seeing if there's any locally sourced products, because I think you're going to hit the trifecta, at least for somebody like me that I think is in your market. I'm willing to pay a premium if it's made in New Hampshire, you're a local small business owner, and there was one other piece. Oh, and then part of it was going to go back to nonprofits. I think that, you know, those three things for me, I would be willing to pay a huge increase if I knew that that was happening. But messaging them that on such a small product is going to be difficult in getting that word out. But I just, you know, you're a great person, and I really appreciate what you're doing and a lot of small business owners are doing, and you need to give yourself more credit, I think, for what you've been able to accomplish so far and where it can go, because I think it can go a lot further, and I think with your passion it will, but you should, you know, definitely give yourself more credit.
Just to piggyback on that, you gave a terrific presentation. Yes, you had problems, but you gave a great presentation, and it sounds like there's interest. So I would caution you to use words like, I'm afraid to think too big, or I don't have lofty goals, because you have a market here.
And they're very beautiful.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, that these are, it's a visual treat. Your presentation, your graphics were great, you know, everything that you do is, it's just beautiful. Your tags, you know, it's the originality of it is what you need to market. And I'm going to go against what Michael said. I don't think it's mass market. I think it's boutique. I think it's New York City. I think that you need to get beyond this local, you know, you've got to think bigger than locally. I mean, I'm going against myself saying this, you know, but I think that this is an idea that should go global.
I would say focus on what you do best, and I would outsource the rest to contract manufacturers and other distribution partners to allow you to compete at a lower price point. And I would focus all my efforts on innovation with different alternative uses of leashes, and I'd focus on design and just focus on what you do best. And good luck.
Thank you very much.
Other final comments?
I wanted to say that I also think that the other reason I don't think it's, you know, it's more New York boutique is the charitable piece. I think that's a really, you know, that's a thing that conscious people want to, you know, appeal to, wealthier people it appeals to. It's not, that's a really great thing, and it's not mass market, it's really niche.
1 minute.
So, I think that you could do a lower-end product in the mass market and appeal to the high-end product as you get enough funds to fund that effort in design.
Okay. Any other comments? Super. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. That concludes as far as the presentations. Aren't you glad you're not a judge? Having to decide. But you do. I'm going to bring Lauren up here in a moment to explain the texting and the balloting. The first question is, what was the most challenging aspect for you in this competition? The most challenging aspect? And where you've got the mic.
The presentation here, talking in front of everybody. I haven't done that in a while. I don't know, what else do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. I'm nervous.
Okay.
I think for me it was the business plan. I was like before midnight that night, still like working on it and kind of having a mental breakdown because it's a lot of numbers and I'm not a number person.
Okay, thank you.
For me, it was definitely the napkin drawing. I may be a photographer, but that doesn't mean I'm an artist in all realms.
I have to agree with you guys. Definitely the presentation was the biggest problem for me.
We don't call it problems, challenge.
I would have to say the numbers and going through some of the real finer details. When you get kind of self-absorbed in startup and just doing the heavy lifting and the work, you kind of forget about all the minor details that make things go, and this was a good exercise for me to understand that process.
I think for me, the length of time from when we started in January till now really was challenging because you can't go on vacation or, you know, anything, and it's a slow time of year for me, so it just was kind of a constant pressure, and you wanted to be really professional, so you were always working on it because you had more time. And then, but I think the biggest thing for me really was that I didn't really believe in my plan when I started, and it took all this time for me to think, oh yeah, I could really do this. I could really beef up my marketing. I'm good, I could do this. But I didn't all along, so I felt like, oh, I'm just sort of faking it. And then I got like, oh, okay. But that was challenging for me.
Good, thank you.
The presentation was the scariest, but the most difficult was probably deciding how far out to project. If we wanted to say, to write the plan about 2 years from now, moving into a shop, or write it about this summer, switching, that sort of thing, deciding what you focus on.
Great, so the second question is, what was the most rewarding aspect of this competition for you and why? The most rewarding.
Well, I think I kind of covered that in the most challenging. The reward was I ended up with a business that I think I'd be very good at, and it sort of surprised me.
Okay.
Somebody laid the idea on me who I coached, and I was like, yeah, great. And now I'm like, oh, yeah, excellent.
This is the most rewarding, I would say, is having, building the capacity and momentum as an IT startup and a maker and someone who wants to really get into the creativity and aspects of all things technical. So just having that every day, getting up and pulling the covers off, I mean, like, we're getting after it again. And it was kind of a drive and incentive that I really enjoyed.
I would say the most rewarding was fine-tuning our business plan and having the resource to work with Chris Sheely at Union Bank. That was such a wonderful experience.
I think for me, the most amazing thing was finding out how many people really believed in what it was that I was trying to do. And to reach out to people, which is not like me, I don't like to ask for help, and find out that people really do want to help. It's a great feeling.
I've always been a goal setter, so writing the business plan was definitely the most helpful and advantageous for me because it's a full-on document of goals.
Just networking, I think, was really helpful for me. My business is so young that I don't really have any real set anything, but kind of forcing myself to get out there and really talk to people about things and get through the little challenges.
Matt, did you want to share with us?
Sure. I think the most beneficial was the data that we got, that we were forced to get, that we wouldn't probably have taken the time to get otherwise. Like, we didn't really know our margins until we crunched the numbers and found out it was a pleasant surprise. So some of the data that we got from it that we would have ignored.
Good. What was the best piece of advice that you got tonight from the judges? The best. The aha. Or uh-oh.
I think the best piece of advice for me was that, I think it was Jamie who said, you know, you could make a lot of money doing this, and for me to hire a staff to actually pay them insurance and really, it was just an exciting moment to think that somebody like that believed in me and that I could really do it. Yeah.
I guess all the advice from the judges was really pretty thoughtful. I guess what James told me about the creative aspect of moving forward with this makerspace was really quite pleasing and kind of satisfies a dream, and I feel a real reality in today's 2015 creative economy.
I think the piece of advice to move forward and look outside of the general area with our product is good. I mean, our main focus is to suit the need here, but I think there's a lot else out there. I think we can think bigger.
One of the ideas I really liked was James's idea when he talked about Bark Box and looking for other non-traditional ways to sell your product.
When Marilyn recommended that I work for a commercial studio, that really hit me. It was something I never really thought about before. It's not really on the business end of things, but it is where I could meet so many people and market myself and learn so many skills and build those connections.
I guess just doing more research was a great thing to hear. It was something that I had already known, and it was good to just get that feedback.
Matt, come back.
The reassurance is nice. Lots of times when you're thinking that the picture you have in your head is a little bit too much, you think you might be overdoing it. It's just it works in your head. To hear them say that you should go further and do higher, it's nice to hear.
I have one more, that to get mine trademarked. It's been nagging at me and made me say, yes, that's the next step, and to market social media more, yeah.
I have one more too, to be a little more stand-up-ish, no pun intended, and to not use my phone when I'm being spoken to.
Okay.
And mine was not to be so intimidating. So,
Zig Ziglar once said that bathing in motivation doesn't last. That's why we have to do it every day. And my question to you is, what kept you motivated through this process, or who kept you motivated during this process? What or who? So.
We want to hire people. I think that's the most motivating thing for me. I see a lot of the manufacturing that we could be doing, and we'd really like to get some help in there, and it just doesn't work with our current shop. And so the expansion is really motivating.
yeah, so I was sort of dragging a wagon behind me, feeling like the pressure was motivating me, but it wasn't enough. And then I went back and reviewed some of my course materials from Marie Forleo, and she reminded me of what my passion is. And I have a real passion for helping women with their low self-esteem. And it just got me fired up. And then I remembered how much I really, really, really want to pay an employee really well, and that I want to donate to, some of my cause, like wildlife is my thing, Mustang horses. And the idea that I could donate huge money to something because I was making money was so cool to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, $4,000 is $4,000. So that's probably one of the motivating factors. But really it's about mentorship and instilling creativity and moving either a young or a middle or an older generation forward with technology, and not leaning on it as something to rely on, but really kind of figuring it out and using it as a great tool.
The money would be wonderful, but I think just the positive feedback from everyone in the community here. Going over to a friend's house, seeing the pork chops on the grill, and them telling us how much they like them. The pigs are motivating, and yeah.
How to support myself, really. I think that's what it is. It's finding a way that you love to take that next step to support yourself in doing whatever it is that's your passion.
I agree with Kate and Patty that passion is definitely what allowed me to continue moving forward. I hate having a picture taken. So when I photograph people who are like me and they see the picture afterwards and they just comment on it, how beautiful it is, and how they feel like they look decent in it, that's hard for me to say about a picture of myself. So if I can give that to somebody else, that's really empowering. And also, kind of branching off Patty, that question of what do you want to be when you grow up, what are you going to do with the rest of your life, and this is what I've decided to do, and I'm really trying to push forward and make it happen.
I think probably the biggest motivator was just trying to find a way to stay up here. This community's just been really fantastic since I've been here, and trying to find a way to be a part of it and give back to it is a huge motivator for me.
Any other?
And I don't mind paying bills. To me, it's empowering that I'm doing this. The responsibility, the independence of paying bills, to me has been really incredible. So I think maybe at some point I might want to look into the financial realm.
I think for me, I've had a lot of false starts, little things that I like to do, and my husband says to me all the time, "Don't quit." And he just kept saying to me, no matter what happens, don't quit.
I was hoping to get away from this one. The thing I learned most about myself, I've always been a pusher for my own doing things, and I've actually learned that it's okay to take a break every once in a while to recharge the battery. I got kind of to a plateau at one point during this process, and walking away from it for a little while was the best thing that I could have done for myself.
I think like Meg said, I found out that I really liked working on the financials and business planning as something I actually enjoyed. I think that we also found within that what areas we each were stronger and weaker in, and which was valuable.
I have to say, probably understanding more of my confidence in what I do, as well as understanding inherent risk. I mean, risk can be seen in a lot of different ways, and understanding risk with a lot of levity was really kind of an eye-opening thing, and I learned a lot.
I think mine was a couple things. When I had to really formulate the program to make what is going to bring a sense of happiness and wholeness to somebody, I looked at everything that I had done to bring myself up. So in my actual program, I realized I have been a seeker since I was, I think late teens, and I was kind of a mess. And I have brought myself up, and I've parented myself, and I've gone to find people who were great teachers, and I've become kind of the person I want to be finally at 60. And I also began to really see, I think of myself as a lazy person, and I think of myself as a person that just wants to lie on the couch and read, because I love to read. And I realized from all the feedback I was getting from people and watching myself go through the process that I remembered my sister was always saying to me, just go for the B- when I was in school. And I was like, I can't. So I realized there's this part of me that has to drive. And I don't think of myself like that. I think of myself as kind of somebody who wants to take the easy road.
What Patty mentioned earlier, I don't like asking for help, but when you do, it's really surprising how many people are willing to help, even though it's your dream. You wouldn't think it's theirs. A lot of people are really passionate about it, which is surprising.
Thank you. I'm assuming because the judges are back that we do have the tallies and the award winners. So I would invite Greg Eastman back up, and also Lauren.
I think they said to stall.
To stall? Well, I do have another question. I do. Statistics aren't all that good for entrepreneurs. About 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And I know in the restaurant business, there's a higher mortality rate. What advice would you give? Let's say we walk out of here tonight and somebody from the audience or somebody from town chases after you and says, I want to open up my own business, or I want to have a service business. What advice would you give them?
Expect it to take a while.
Get a mentor.
Never give up.
It will definitely take over your life.
Because it does take over your life, make sure it's something that you love.
Don't be afraid to find the right resources and ask for help when you don't know what you're doing.
I think I would say ask for help, definitely.
So another question, there's a tremendous amount of fear that can consume the entrepreneur, just even the thought of having your own business. How were you able to bust through? I mean, we're not talking just motivation, but how were you able to bust through that fear and keep going? Because someone once said too, courage is not the absence of fear, it's embracing the fear and doing it anyways. So how did you do that? And how are you doing that?
For us, we're doing something that we really love, so we'd be doing this anyway, no matter what, and that keeps us going.
That's a good one. I mean, it's a challenging notion every day to try to meet numbers and meet client needs and meet demand. So I think a lot has to do with the internal beauty piece and knowing that you're doing the next best thing.
I think that because I've had a business for so long and I've had so much fear with it, that as I came to really believe in beauty as a decision, that it got to be, it went from, oh God, and why, I'm just this baker, to, why not? It became a why not question, and it really helped me overcome that fear.
Inventor animism. Thinking that your product can become flawless mitigates the fear.
Anyone else? I think we've stalled. No, it's been some great questions, great responses, so thank you. Would you like the...
Yeah, we'll take the mic.
Okay. Do you want them to speak tomorrow?
Okay. I'd like to say some thank yous. George Mitchell, I don't know where George went, but George has put a lot of time and work into this. Thank you, George. And all the volunteers from both the LIDC and the chamber boards, we all appreciate it very much. I would like to thank Chris Shealy and Lauren Anderson for the hours and hours and hours and organization that goes into this. Thank you very much. And we'd like to say a very special thank you to our judges who have given up their time and a lot of time to get here too for some of them. So please thank our judges too very much. Thank you. I know the voting was very close and very tight, so I will not go into any great detail, but I will announce that the Capital Adventure runner-up is Sandwiched Tech.
Okay, great. We can get some afterwards.
And I'd be very remiss if I did not thank, I meant to first time and I forgot, was your Master of Ceremonies. Carrie Gendro did a great job. And her husband, Bill. Thank you, Bill. The grand prize winner of Capital Adventure this year goes to Prospect Farm.
And we do have certificates for all of our wonderful small business plan competitors today. You all did such a wonderful job. Thank you for putting your business out there and for your confidence and creativity.
Thank you.
And we have one last award to give out tonight. And it's the award that the audience chose. So thank you all for your participation and for submitting your votes, either the traditional pencil and paper or trying out the crazy phone system that we have. And this year's People's Choice Award is Prospect Farm.